Okay, so I'm standing here with Lance Edwards, standing out in Mazwi village, and we're on a plot of land belonging to Babangwenya, I think. It's, what are the measurements again?
About 50 by 50
50
meters.
by 50.
Quarter of a hectare.
So Lance, there's 197 houses here,
Correct.
each on a bit of land that's 50 by 50. What's some of your heart for what each family can do on the piece of land that they have?
Yeah, we have a vision for all of these areas. The reality is water is the issue. As you can see from the background, it's very, very dry. The soil is very, very poor, and we need moisture. Once we get water, we can solve that problem. Then we can actually work with people to become sustainable. I feel not only can they be sustainable in all of their food needs, in terms of their cereal crops, their vegetable crops, their fruit crops, even to do some fodder production for livestock. We can do that once we get them water. But water is the limiting factor. We also want to implement land management practices on their land, where whatever rainfall falls on their property, we can keep on the property. So we want to do infiltration trenches. We want to actually put back into the ground as well as extract from the ground. So there's a lot of practices we can implement. A lot of it's going to be labor dependent. This is also a community that's very elderly, a lot of HIV/AIDS. So it's a very weak community in terms of physical strength, which will limit them. So we've got to be wise in what we choose and how we implement it. But I think there's a huge potential, and the reality is if we can do it on a piece of land like this in this community, we can do it anyway.
So you reckon that on each family's unit, a 50 by 50, you reckon that on this piece of land, the family that lives here can be self-sustaining?
Yeah, and profitable.
And profitable.
I really believe that's possible. We need to give each family about 3,500 liters of water per day.
Okay.
If we can do that, we can really push the production, and we can actually use the land very well.
And what exactly is the water situation at the moment?
Right now, there's one water point. It's city water, council water, and they have to walk to get it. So obviously, there's queues at the water point, and they can only get in 20-liter buckets at a time. And so it's very limited, the water. They can't use a lot of the water for agriculture.
Yeah.
So right now it's just domestic use, and we've implemented the wicking beds, which is low water usage,
Okay.
so they can carry the water for that. But beyond that, at the moment, they can't do anything.
And so, Lance, I mean, we're talking 197 households. I mean, to dig boreholes that will sustain all these households is obviously a very costly and elaborate exercise. I mean, are there options in terms of, you know, how can we bring water as well in a sort of cost-effective way?
Yeah, it's obviously, if we're looking at 3,500 liters per household, we need a well or a borehole between 5 and 6 families.
Okay.
They're going to have to share them. Commercially, right now, it's anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 to drill a well. So it's a very costly exercise. So we're looking at bringing in a different type of drilling rig. We're hoping to drill a smaller diameter hole, so it's a lot less costly, and then hopefully put in a solar system. We think we can get that 3,500. I'd love to get it down to $1,000 per borehole, which makes it a lot more affordable, a lot more manageable. So we need to look at raising funds for that and making that happen.
And I mean, in terms of, so you've worked with this community a bit. I mean, what are the people here like? You know, are they digging their holes? Are they working hard? I mean, what's your experience?
Yeah, I must say this is probably one of the most faithful communities I've worked with. This will be my 4th year working with them. The first year we just did foundations for farming, and we had an incredible success. And the next year we had a fairly decent yield. It wasn't a great rainy season, but the reality is they got a yield when no one else did. Even to the point where the DA recognized what they were doing was unusual, and he arranged a field day here for the government to come and the people in this community to highlight what they were doing. So that was an incredible testimony to their faithfulness, their diligence. As I said, they're not a strong community, but they're faithful. And they they know how to go about their work, so they do a little bit every day and they get ready in time for the rainy season.
Okay.
Sadly, last year they were very, very faithful, but there was a total crop failure because of the drought and the rain.
Thanks, Lance. Thanks for chatting.
No problem.
We're going to swing around and see the gentlemen who have been teaching this community to be faithful. Do you want to wave? Hello, gents. Well done. Good job.